Hey guys, and welcome back to another book review. Today I'm reviewing The Association by Bentley Little. So this is one of the books that I showed in my haul Wednesday. I told you some people had told me to check out Bentley Little, so I bought 3 of his books, and this one was the most eye-catching to me, so I had to read this one first. It was just like necessary for me to dig into this one ASAP, and we'll talk about it. This is an older book. I think this came out in 2001, so I mean not like super old, but about like 18 years ago. So oh, that sounds so weird, 18 years ago. Anyways, not too old, but not like a recent book. But let me read you the plot. I know I read it to you guys in the video on Wednesday, but in case you didn't see that, you can see it here. So it says, "Congratulations, Barry and Maureen. You've been approved by the association and are encouraged to move into our exclusive gated community as soon as possible. Please be aware that we reserve the right to approve your decor, your landscaping, your friends, and your job. All relationships with neighbors should be avoided. Any interference from the outside will not be tolerated. Any attempt to leave will be stopped. Any infraction of the rules could result in severe fines, physical punishment, or death. Please send all other inquiries to the house on the hill, preferably before dark. Sincerely, the association. P.S. You're being watched." So it's like a little snippet, and then this is the actual like plot. It says, "Barry and Maureen found the house of their dreams in Utah's beautiful Bonita Vista. It didn't bother them that they had to join a homeowners association. They just never realized the association would invade every aspect of their lives and that the penalty for bending the rules could be the death of them." So, I have a thing where I hate homeowners associations. I actually live in one currently because I live with my mom, and she lives in a homeowners association, and I hate them. The one here isn't that bad, but I just don't like being told what to do. That really like bothers me, especially with something that you've like bought. Like, this is your house. You should be able to do like pretty much whatever you want to it, you know? So that is like one thing why I had to read this book. Two, I love weird neighbors. Like, I don't know, books that have plots that have neighbors that are strange, kind of like, you know, I don't know, I just like, it's really interesting to me. Ania Alborn has a book called The Neighbors that I really, really liked. I have a review up on my channel about it. But anyways, I just had to read it because of that. So that's pretty much why I wanted to read it. Okay, so basically Barry and Maureen, they're a married couple, and they decide they want to move from California to Utah because they want to live in a more small town, you know, like rural area kind of thing. Barry is a horror writer, so he writes horror books, which I think is kind of funny because he's in a horror book, but anyways. And Maureen is an accountant. Basically, they want to do their jobs from home. Like, they can live in this nice house with beautiful scenery, and they can enjoy doing their work. I mean, he's a writer, so writers usually work from home anyways. And she's an accountant that's taking, you know, people from California with her, and she's going to try to find new ones there. So they both want to work from home and just kind of like have more of a chill, relaxed lifestyle in this new area that they're living in. So they find their perfect house in Bonita Vista, which is a gated community, and they even get it for like a really good price. I think they get it for like, I think the person wanted $110,000 and they get it for like $95,000 or something like that, which is like really good. But again, it was like 2001, so that makes sense. It's briefly mentioned to them that they're going to be part of a homeowners association, and they're kind of like, but they really love the house, and they think it's just gonna be a bonus because they're gonna get perks. Yes, they have to pay their dues, like the payment that they have to pay, but there's a tennis court that they can use, and they're building a pool and like a community center. So, I mean, they're gonna reap benefits even if they have to pay these dues like monthly or whatever. So the first day that they're there, they find a dead cat shoved in the mailbox that's just like rotting with ants all over it and bugs and stuff. Well, actually Barry finds it and Maureen doesn't know because he doesn't want to freak her out because they just moved there. So yeah, there is a lot of animals dying in this book. So if you're like sensitive to that, I wouldn't read this because it is pretty sad. I hate listening to animals die. So, you know, it's not like really graphic, but I mean, it does tell you that they're like dead. So just a fair warning. It's not too much in there, but there is a couple of times where it's mentioned. So I just thought I'd bring it up. So quickly they meet Ray and Liz, who are their neighbors. Well, kind of their neighbors. They live like a little bit down because there's a pretty big space between all of the houses. But because it's more like lots of land where the houses are on, and they're like pretty big, nice houses. So they live a little bit farther down, and Ray and Liz are super nice, and Ray is very vocal about not liking the homeowners association. He's very vocal about it. So it starts with really little things, like they have a garage sale the first like week that they've moved in, and they get in trouble because no garage sales. But they're let off with a warning because they didn't know, they hadn't read the rules yet. So they're like, fine, this is your warning. And then it starts with like, you're not allowed to plant those bushes or flowers in your garden because you didn't get them pre-approved. And then of course the biggest rule that I think is ridiculous, well, a lot of them are ridiculous, but the one I really hate is they're not allowed to have pets at all. And that, yeah, there's a thing with that, which is really annoying. But so it starts with little things like that, and then it slowly and progressively gets worse and worse and worse, and the rules get more outrageous and crazy and weird, you know? Barry slowly starts, well, actually not very slowly, he pretty much immediately starts hating the homeowners association, and him and Ray kind of like talk about it. They're like, oh, this, like they have little like meetings. Liz and Maureen are kind of like, you guys are crazy, like you guys are overreacting, it's not that big of a deal, it's a homeowners association, they can tell us what to do, you know, like we signed the papers saying like, yeah, they can do that, like that's what it takes to live here. But they think it's a little bit more than that, which, you know, it turns out to be. Like I said, everything starts getting worse and worse and worse the longer they live there. And they really start seeing that the homeowners association is really not what it seems to be. It's not a normal homeowners association. There's also ongoing tensions with the gated community Bonita Vista and the town that they kind of are next to / live in. The only town next to them, I think it's like a little bit of a drive, but they live next to kind of in the town of Corbin. And the Corbin people are more townsfolk, I guess, and the gated community are more snobby, like we're better because we can afford this kind of thing. So they don't really like each other. And there's a whole plot involved in this book where they are just going at it, and they have this whole war because of the gated community and the Corbin townsfolk not liking each other. So that's basically all I'm going to tell you, because again, this is a really big book. This is like 400 pages, I believe. 430 something, 38, 39, I don't know. Something like that. It's like 400 pages. And there's a lot that goes on. Like I can't tell you a lot, but I think that pretty much sums up the major key points that I wanted to hit on. Barry and Maureen are really cool characters. I actually really like them a lot, and it's really unique for me to like both main characters of a horror story, not like let alone one. Usually horror characters annoy the crap out of me, but I actually really liked Barry and Maureen. They do some stupid stuff, but like in general, I think they're pretty smart. I think they're cool, and I really like their marriage. They have a really good, like, strong marriage. So I was actually really rooting for them the entire time. I like really wanted them to like overcome these obstacles that they were getting thrown at them. One thing I really loved about this book, and pretty much with any book that's similar to this, is you don't know who to trust. The neighbors seem like they're on your side, but there are spies everywhere, and they know because they'll be hanging out with a group of people, and then someone will tell on them, and they're like, well, it had to be someone here, so who is it? And like, I just love that when you're not sure who is good and who is bad. It's always I don't know, intriguing to me because I like to be kept on my toes, and I feel like that's a good way for me to be kept on my toes, is to not know exactly who's good and who's bad. I found it really funny that the men were the paranoid ones in the book. Like Ray and Barry were really paranoid about the homeowners association. They thought they were evil. They were just like, oh, they're bad, you know? And Maureen and Liz are just kind of like, are you guys okay? Like, what the heck? Because usually in horror books, especially like hauntings and stuff like that, the women are usually the first to figure it out. And the men are just like, you're imagining it. This is ridiculous. Like, you're just seeing things. It's playing off of your mind, like blah, blah, blah. And I just thought it was funny that it was like reversed this time. The men were the like skeptical, like paranoid ones. I actually really liked that because it was a different like dynamic. I will say this isn't inherently scary to me. I don't think anything that happened was scary. I will say I was getting a little anxious because I just wanted there to be an outcome, and I was like, come on, come on, come on, like, come on. And like some parts made me a little like, oh God, what's gonna happen? But I wasn't ever really scared. But I don't think that's a bad thing because the plot was really good and I really enjoyed it. So it didn't really matter that it didn't make me scared or whatever. One thing I will say about the book that is slightly annoying, and I know that Bentley Little did it on purpose, but it's just frustrating as a reader, at least for me, that the HOA or the homeowners association, the stuff that they're doing is so illegal, and it's just like, you should be caught. Why are people letting you get away with this? This is ridiculous. There's no way that this would be happening in real life. And I get that it's fiction and that's the point, but like, it's kind of frustrating because you're like, I just want this to get caught. Like, I want them to get in trouble. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, why isn't anyone doing anything? And it like slightly gets me worked up because I'm like, oh my God, why aren't people like doing something? And every time like a law enforcement gets involved, it's just like, of course nothing happens. It's so ridiculous to me that like no one can stop them. Like, these homeowners association people are just so good at it. And I'm like, oh my God, this would never happen in real life. And I guess that was just a little frustrating to me because it's not very realistic, but I did still enjoy it, if that makes sense. Like I said, I like plots like these with like neighbors, like the homeowners association thing. Like, I like this idea, so I found the plot to be really good and I really liked it, and I really enjoyed reading it. And also I really liked the ending. The outcome was what I was hoping for, honestly, because the whole thing was driving me insane that I was just kind of like, can it end this way, please? And it did, and I was happy. So I really, really liked this book. I think it was a really, really, really good book. If you're looking for something a little bit longer and not necessarily scary, but has like a good plot, I would highly recommend this because I think that the plot is the star of the show here. Like, I liked the plot a lot, and I think the characters are really good. Ray and Liz are awesome. Barry and Maureen are really awesome. They have really good characters in here. He developed them well, I think, and I was able to connect with them and like them and root for them, which is sometimes hard for me to do in horror books. Sometimes I don't care if they live or die, and here I was like rooting for them the entire time. So yeah, guys, that's all I have to say about this book. Again, I do really like it. It's not scary, but I think the plot is well done, and there are some good like gripping moments. It's a gripping book, not necessarily scary, but it does grip you, which I think is still a really great book. So let me know if you guys have read this book in the comments down below. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this book. Let me know if you have read Bentley Little or what's your favorite book by him or whatever. Let me know if you have any book recommendations. You know I love book recommendations. I ask you guys in like every video because I can never get enough books. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you like, subscribe, comment, and I hope I see you guys in my next video. Bye!